Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to the James Bond Complex podcast, the show where we discuss, rejoice, and analyze the entire James Bond phenomenon in all of its shapes and forms, from Fleming to the films and everything in between. Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is, always has been, is, and will continue to be Edgar.
I'm Matt. It's always been Matt, and
Hello, Matt.
sometimes I write it with two T's.
I'm Jason Kim.
Hello, Jason Kim.
And usually I'm Emery.
So we are back recording, the four of us, for the first time in quite some time. The season is underway. In fact, that's, I think, one of the things we might want to talk about. This is a debriefing episode.
Normally, if everything that we plan together is felt in the right order, this episode is being aired or distributed on October 5th. So it's Happy Global James Bond Day, everyone! Yay!
Guys and listeners and our friends and even the people who have no idea who we are and have never heard of the James Bond Complex, we wish those people as well a very happy Global James Bond Day and happy 60th.
So this year, since it is the 60th anniversary of Eon's production of the James Bond film series, it is the Diamond Jubilee.
For James Bond, we'll call it the Diamonds Are Forever Jubilee.
But for now, we are going to be celebrating the Diamond Jubilee of the James Bond phenomena.
Well, I think us four, we'll do that to the best of our abilities this October 5th and on and around those dates. But I think it's our friends, as per usual. Not that we're jealous, but as per usual, it's our friends in the United Kingdom that are really going to have just a gay old time in late September and early October. A lot of official Eon events are taking place, some of which I will admit sound kind
We're getting
of cool.
the short end of the stick here with Canada and North America in general, I find, because I'm just, every time I log into Instagram, new movie showing at Odeon theaters in UK. They get a new movie like almost every week for the last couple of weeks now.
I think it is every week.
Nothing.
I mean, because they're replaying all the movies, and then I think they scheduled it for 25 consecutive weeks, so that I think the final week, so the first weekend of October, right before Global James Bond Day, No Time to Die will air, or has aired, I guess.
Matt, you and Edgar actually got to see You Only Live Twice this summer, though. You guys had a little bit of a special event.
Not only did we get to see You Only Live Twice, but we saw it twice in theaters at different times, obviously, but it was the second time. Edgar, do you want to talk about our experience a little bit?
Well, I was trying to get some information out of you there, but yeah.
We were invited by the Cine Club Film Society, which is a local by which I mean Montreal-based film fan club, and they have sometimes it's a person we know, sometimes it's other people who own film prints of particular iconic movies, whether they're North American, whether they're foreign language movies from 30 years ago, movies from 60, 70 years ago. I've seen a couple of them. And basically, they this past spring and summer, they rented out a very pleasant museum in downtown Montreal. It's attached to the Museum of Fine Arts right downtown in the heart of the city. Anyways, the concluding Sunday night of the spring-summer schedule was a 1967 print of You Only Live Twice. And because we are from the city, because we sort of have the ability to do a little presentation in French, it's Montreal after all, we were invited to introduce the movie. And because it's a film print, there were two reels, so there's about a 10-minute break as they changed the reels in the middle of the movie, and we hosted some sort of was it a quiz show? We brought Right, that's how I got rid of my Funko Pops. I don't have my Funko Pops anymore. I gave them away at that quiz.
Today, I won an eBay bid for the Moonraker Seiko watch, the one that
How much
has
did you pay for that? Out of curiosity,
take a guess. I'm not sure if they said it's functioning, but the buttons may or may not work. Take a guess. Should I just reveal it? I'm gonna pay
Yeah, just-
$26 because I guess this person's not a James Bond fan. So
Wow.
sometimes
Well, no, he's this person not a James Bond fan. Apparently, this
I'm
person
curious.
doesn't know
Are you
anything
gonna
about
wear it?
watches either.
Is it something you plan to wear, or is just gonna put on the display with
no,
a picture of Roger Moore?
no, I'll probably wear it though.
You're kind of like Edgar, because Edgar's like, if I don't use it, I'll throw it away. My God.
Yeah.
That's why I got him the Live and Let Die mug for his birthday last year. I got you Casino Royale, the comic book adaptation. I hope you've been enjoying it.
I am enjoying it very much. And that's the thing is like I like to buy things Bond related or non-Bond related for things that I'm going to use. And
Pretty sure, and even if it's partially not working, I'm pretty sure you can get bring it to a
watch me, yeah.
watchmaker. Bijoutier quelqu'un, and they'll get it working. And even if Seiko is still around, you can probably reach out to them, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Still around. What?
Because like the watch,
Blasphemy.
It's
because
not
like
around anymore.
No,
Really?
Oh, they are. Of
Seiko-
course they are.
Seiko's like one of the
You're the guys are the watch guy.
Seiko's
My
very well.
watch gives me the number of steps I walk. It gives me my heart rate, and I have a real.
You get
And then,
it.
I'm wearing my Fitbit right now because that's what I wear in my house. But
but mine has the golden eye display. So that's
but that's
Sexy.
but that's the point that I'm building is like I love this because like we're applying our Bond fandom into our lives instead of just collecting dust in our house. And
yeah, no.
Well,
And even if you get tired of it, you can get a pretty decent display out of that.
oh yeah, for sure. It's not there's no
There's no negative.
there's no negative out of it. And to conclude, like Bond possessions, I always say, to quote Electric King herself, there's no point in living if you can't feel alive.
There's no point in living if you can't feel alive.
As you guys can see from my screen, back in this past April, I went to Matera and Gravina and other parts of Apulia, and then flew up to Scotland to scout all the time-dive locations, and then took a train down to London to finish all the remaining James Bond locations that I had around central London. And after this trip, I'm granted, don't get me wrong, there are many places that I still haven't been, such as Greece, Gibraltar, Hong Kong, but I felt emotionally complete after this trip of James Bond locations until Bond 26.
Well, I would like to think that you haven't visited all those locations just because, like exclusively because they're Bond locations. It helps that they're Bond location, and the character often goes to very interesting looking locations. So that very nice bonuses. They're in cool movies and places look good. But I would like to think that those are almost the c'est l'emballage. It's like the wrapping. It's the confetti.
It's a
Like
plus.
you still want to go there.
Yeah.
It's not like, shoot, I have to go to a stupid Gravina and Matera. Oh, no. It's like, I'd like to go to Matera.
Or like,
I'd like to go to those stupid places. That'd be great going to those
Yeah.
stupid places.
yes,
Dumb
Well,
place like London. Stupid.
Let me
Right.
see the
animals.
picture. It's a beautiful place. I mean, just with the background that you have on your our meeting right now, it's beautiful. And,
Well, I mean, Moonraker watch is nice, but not that I want to make this a little competition, but for the plutonium jubilee of the James Bond series, Matt and me, there is something. It's not on October 5th. It's not on October 5th. It arrives a little bit later. 9 days later, something like that. 10 days later, 9 days later. Yeah, Let's Bond is back. That thing we couldn't shut up about in 2019 is coming back.
That made me super jealous and
would you
just
go?
buy-
evidence that I can't come this year.
There's still time.
I was actually really bummed because I mean you guys had talked it up so much, and the pictures from the last one were just it just looks incredible. And speaking of my wife, she does kind of make fun of me for the fact that like I kind of like these kind of like fancier events as much as right now I'm sitting here in a very casual football jersey. I do enjoy getting dressed up and going out to fancy places, and this is like the fanciest thing I can think of, and I go into something else very fancy.
Is it since I did not attend this event and I remember seeing the pictures, is the event business formal suit, or is it a black tie affair?
It's as close to black tie without you needing to wear black tie. Some people do, but it's really like business formal,
most
but
people
nice.
most
You don't
people
wear you don't wear the suit you would wear to the office meeting. You wear the suit. It's like, hey, it's Friday night. It's a James Bond themed event. I'm gonna look good.
So
Yeah,
it's like it's a suit that you will wear on a formal event, not a business
Yes,
meeting.
most people
correct.
were wearing were tuxedoed up. The ladies look super nice. We had such a great time when we left. Edgar and we had stars in our eyes, and we're all saying, "Oh my God, that has been around for a long time now." I
A
think there are
decade. It's the 10th year.
Any idea what the prior year themes movies were used?
Oh, it's all on their web, or
Okay.
either on their website, on their YouTube channel. They had one that's inspired by the Day of the Dead Inspector. They had one for GoldenEye at one point. I would have to go back and look at their, but they've like the one for Spectre look exquisite. Like
Yeah,
the
these
Day
look
of the
really
Dead,
nice.
it looked really nice. The one for GoldenEye, it was one of their first. But the last few ones. The last two, like I think the one before the lockdown was ours, and I think the one before was Spectre, if I'm not mistaken.
Might have been. Might have been.
And this one, I'm hoping for Vegas. I hope they have a very strong Vegas team. I hope they have like Machinists, or I would have, I'll doubt they have the casino tables, but that would be pretty sweet.
They
I
need
mean,
what they need on the because it's a 2-story thing. It's an old cathedral. Exaggerate. It's an old church, but it's 2 stories. They need someone. They need like they need to find an actor to play Shady Tree, and he just spends all night telling terrible jokes and telling the audience to get lost, to go home.
But
That'd
they
be
could
great.
make it very circus team. Anyway, I'm sure we'll have a great time. And like last year, 2019 was like a dream. It's been so long. Like I need to recharge my batteries, and
We should probably. No, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm a little bit fearful that we wouldn't mention it, and we don't need to spend too much time on this. But there are 2 local. There's actually a hospital that's not far from where. Actually, it's even close to where you live, Matt.
oh, it's
Um,
it is Stone's Throw or
Stone's Throw
something.
away. Yeah, the Douglas Hospital. They have a psychiatric, not ward, but building wing, a psychiatric wing, and their foundation, the Douglas Foundation, and something called Jeunes en Tête, which is sort of a Youthful Minds, which sensitizes people about mental health and depression. And Jeunes en Tête goes to high schools all across the province of Quebec, and they offer free sessions, activities for the youth, for students, teenagers. That's the word I've been looking for, to sort of let them understand what their condition may or may not be, just to be a little bit more sensitive about the idea of mental health. So it's very lavish. Me and Matt witnessed it firsthand 3 years ago, and we'll witness it again in a few weeks. But it's very lavish. It's very exciting. It's very sexy. But at the end of the night, when the party's like finally over at like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, like they announce how much money they've raised. And I think in 2019 it was $500,000. I think $500,000 or $600,000, something like that, went to those 2 foundations. So we're there to have fun, but the money used to purchase those tickets, probably covering some of the costs they need to produce the event. A lot of that money is also going to these 2 charities.
Yeah, but I think
the
initial funds, because it's a sponsored event. I don't think.
Of course.
I think the money goes directly to and they had a little. If I remember, they had a little contest. Yeah, I remember one of the hostess had sort of
an octopusy robe, I think.
Yes, that's it. It was not exactly Octopussy, but the logo made it look like Octopussy. And they had eggs, and then the joke, because eggs and Octopussy, we could pick eggs, and there was a prize in it, or
it's like a
nothing.
lottery ticket.
Yeah, and I got nothing. Not even a
And I
free
remember
drink.
when we walked in, and it was there all night. And again, we spoke about the Christie's. There was an auction there that night. There may be one this year again, and someone was actually putting their finishing touches on a very quick but very beautiful, very quickly painted Roger Moore, sort of his face, sort of like an octopussy-ish aged Roger Moore,
Yeah,
and that
I
went
think
on
it's based
auction.
on a still of. I've seen that picture, and I think I have pictures of that painting. I'll put them here.
Right. And it was the point is, yes, it's there to have fun, but there's a lot of the significant moolah going to a very good cause, much like the Christie's auction. So not as much money as the Christie's one.
Since we're talking about an event that's going to happen after, at least the official Global James Bond Day, do you guys think there will be any? I mean, I don't think there will be anything Eon sanctioned official after Global James Bond Day events per se, but what do you think? Do you think there will be any announcements from Barbara by December 31st, 2022 this year? I mean, anything. I mean, I'm just throwing out it's not a, go ahead.
Maybe a release date. If there's any announcement, I'm guessing the video game would be announced.
Oh, the video game
no.
video game also got postponed, not because of Eon, but because of the engine, the Hitman engine people. Like they had some issues, like technical and other.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So that's
maybe something with Amazon. Maybe they're gonna announce that. Yeah, we're putting. Oh, I think it's the States. You already have. Yeah, there's that TV show contest thing that Edgar can't stop talking about.
I mean, I applied for that TV show, and then they asked, "Can you run 5 miles?" I was like, "Can?" And I was like,
"In my dreams."
I was like, "How long do I have?" And then,
yeah, I can run it, but like, you expecting me to do it fast?
Give me a week.
I have that right in front of me, so I might as well show it to you and say, no. What they could actually do is because these have been selling out. I know Jason has one.
Mine's downstairs. Yeah.
I bought. That's my third one. I bought 2 for my nephew and niece, and for some reason, Emery hasn't bought one.
No. I made the mistake of saying that. But I made the mistake of saying that it looks better than the other one. And my wife's like, "Wow, why didn't you tell me? Because I spent all this money on the other one." And
the other one's a little more
expensive. It didn't exist.
No, but I think there's some things with the small one that look better small than what they did with the big one. I think there's more exclusive pieces in the small one, but yeah, I think they could probably do a little series of Bond cars.
And these have been selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
No, because like I had to buy mine on Amazon because like I went to the Lego store because like I wanted to actually go to the Lego store for the first time in a while, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're sold out for a couple of weeks." I was like, and they're like, "Do you want Dominic Toretto's Charger?" I was like, "There's a reason why Bond is selling out and not Fast and Furious."
I'm actually, I don't dislike the Fast and Furious franchise, but knowing that Bond's selling out makes me a little bit happy because it shows that the brand has value and it's a kid. Technically, it's a kid's choice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play with them too.
Hey, Matt, Bond has more family values. Family. I don't got friends. I got family. Go ahead, Emery.
Come out with the Lotus Esprit, like in the Lego range, like super easy. Just Lotus Esprit.
I want to see that. There's somebody made a mock-up of various sets, but the Doctor No Dragon is something that kids would
easy to do.
You know what? It's just that
kids would love it.
Kids would love it. I mean,
because
it's very toyetic.
No, because like I collect the Lego Speed Champions, or I've been building and collecting Lego Speed Champions for many years. I have like the Petronas, Mercedes, the Porsches, Audi Quattros, you name it. And the recent series, the recent edition, the release that they had right before the DB5 and the Toretto's Charger was the Lamborghini Countach from the late 70s. And I was like, yeah, if you have a Countach like foundation already made, like the same designer designed Lotus Esprit, like the Giacchino, I forget the guy's designer's first name, but like Giacchino, it's a Giacchino design. So like,
is it Giorgiari? Is it?
I forget. I mean, either way, but it's the same designer, so it's like, yeah, you could do the Lotus Esprit so easily. Like, it doesn't even have to turn into submarine. If it does, it's even better. Like, Or I personally would like the GoldenEye T55 tank, and that shouldn't be too hard with the Batmobile releases and stuff. Like, I
Mhm.
think I think Lego is starting to tip the tentacles of what they can do with the Bomb brand. And yeah, I hope like Lego really engages or collaborates with Eon more to really,
Continues.
it continues. Yes.
No, no, I totally agree. Like I've loved that little car toy. It's been on my desk, and I must say sometimes I push it around when I'm working.
I think
I mean,
it may be important to keep in mind. Not that I want to be a Debbie Downer here, but whenever there's an item sold, that's officially sanctioned, it's I shouldn't say always because that would be I'd be lying through my teeth, but it's very often the DB5. So I'm not very surprised. I'm thankful it's selling well. At least there are people, but the DB5 is the thing. Like that's usually what most people think of. It's uh, would the dragon from Doctor No sell? Well, in my fantasy, I'd like it to sell. Would it really sell? I have no idea. The DB5, yeah, everybody wants to buy
You know
DB5.
what
It's a sure thing.
they need content that's for the Lego audience. So you do a little James Bond video game or cartoon, Lego James Bond cartoon, and you have a bunch of vehicles.
but for our listeners in London, go to the Lego store. I know you guys probably our London and British listeners already know this, but if you go to the Lego store in Leicester Square, they have the DB5 built in Lego's life size.
It's pretty big, actually. It's
Yeah,
massive.
it's a life size DB5 because I know how big, because I've seen a DB5 many times, and it is the actual size of a DB. And the doors are open, so you could go there, or there are no doors, so you can go in, and or two people can go in and take a picture inside.
It's pretty nice. It was I think it was an official video. When they speed up the video and it's like the team
Mhm.
making the DB5, and it's pretty. Looks like it was a lot of fun making that DB5.
Because like I know Lego tends to do that a lot for like a lot of vehicles or Iron Man suits or whatever. But then I was so happy that the Leicester Square Lego store has the DB5, and I can only hope and dream, but I hope it lasts at least another year or two, and that stays there for at least another year, so I could go back to London and take a picture with it.
As
Yeah, that
long
would
as
be cool.
possible, I think is the word you're looking for. I'm actually, speaking of spy, I'm looking at Spyscape, and they're actually turning this the exhibit to Batman. Apparently, I knew that like
You're no secret, guys. Actually, so
Tell
Alex
me your
Lama.
secrets.
So the day after I saw Daniel Craig on Macbeth in New York City, Alex Lamas, Sifu Lamas, who's a good friend of the show, he took me to a Spyscape marketing research campaign, and Batman was one. And then we talked with the marketing executive who had no relation to Spyscape, but she was just polling, random. She invited exclusive people, and Alex tended was one of the exclusive people because he's been to Spyscape many times, the the reason why Batman is the next exclusive Spyscape exhibit is because from the poll that we did, me being the Department of Defense official, I gave my my spiel about what could make a good spy focused exhibit, from a secure
Mm,
from a very secret government perspective, but then you but their goal obviously is to reach out to the mass audience, and
yeah, you gotta
Batman,
entertain a little bit.
and then because some of the ideas that they listed were just terrible, like they're like for instance Harry Potter was one,
it's
and they're
Warner
like,
Brothers property, so they probably have made some agreement. But Harry Potter, I can't see it. First off, I mean, you're in New York City. It's been called Gotham City. It makes perfect sense for Batman to be like the next exhibit. If you can't do, we don't want to do Bond, and you need to refresh. Batman's a perfect substitute. But
I
I
mean
disagree.
the
I
Joker,
disagree.
Harry Potter,
I disagree.
the Joker, the 2019 Joker film was filmed in many places around New York City, like the Bronx and
Bob Kane
Brooklyn.
lived in New York City.
And then
He's
I took those location shots when I was there in 2019, and then So yeah, I think so. That is why the Batman will be the next
What,
Spice.
I'm curious, what other property were they thinking about besides Batman and Harry Potter?
Like Marvel was one, and then but Marvel's such a huge entity, so that's why we helped them eliminate that. And Homeland, and I was like, Homeland was one of my favorite shows, but
That's very niche. That's
yeah,
very niche.
that's extremely niche.
And it doesn't
24,
there's no
24 was
family appeal.
no, absolutely not. 24 was another, but then I was like, 24 is like almost 10 years ago. Like it was like such a nine or the prime time of Tony 24 is in like post 9/11, like, and that's when. But it's also kind of become niche since then. And then what else was there? Like it was just like bunch of franchise IPs that they listed out, and then we came to the conclusion. We at least convinced them or
You
consulted.
highly influence them in their
Yeah.
choice.
Yes.
You're an
Yeah.
influencer too.
Yeah.
So there's I never shared this with you guys. I mean, it wasn't a secret. I just never had a chance to share with you guys. But yeah, that's
Now
so.
you share that with the entire world.
That's pretty cool.
And then
pretty
you
cool.
guys, we could say the James Bond Complex co-host shared influence Spice Game.
We know what we're talking about. I don't know if I agree that Harry Potter wouldn't have been a good one. I mean, but the little castle is like MI6. His wand is like a Q gadget. Faces off against a new megalomaniacal villain every time. Isn't that how those things work?
They're sneaking
little,
around in the background and everything too. There's something there, but I mean, isn't there other properties that they should put before? Like,
Oh, also, what's that?
I mean,
What's the James Spader show?
oh yeah,
Blacklist. Blacklist was another. But I was
yeah.
like, I haven't seen that show.
Blacklist. I don't know.
I haven't seen that show in like 5 years. So I was like, and like you, Matt, that's also niche like Homeland would have been.
Oh, they still have
That's
some
one point though.
on their store. They still have a bunch of Spycape T-shirts. They got books. They have if you want a copy, first print copy of Win, Lose or Die. There's one for $75 for special services. Emery's favorite Bond book,
Yeah, I
$75.
want a special edition. $75.
And
But
because
honestly, it's a first print copy.
Yeah,
because
Wow!
because because I
Thunderball, $2,250.
because I participated in this marketing consulting survey with them. I received a $200 gift card to use at the gift store. That I bought as much bond.
What did you get?
I bought the Bond card game, a Bond notebook, just for my own, some pens, and AJ Chowdhury's book. What is it? Some kind of hero.
No, wait.
Some kind. I mean, I already had a copy of some kind of hero, but I wanted to give it to one of my friends, so that's why I bought it there too.
They have Bond photography by Terry O'Neill. They got Nobody Does It Better. Lair. That's interesting. Lair. The radical homes and hideouts of movie villains.
Got some socks.
Are you really telling me that for special services is listed on there a first edition for $75?
Yeah, that's right here.
Because this is a first edition that I have
No,
here in
that's
my
not
hands.
that's not the copy that they have.
Well, I'm telling you, this is the one that I have, and it's
I think
edition.
you have the British. You have the British.
I do have the British one.
Yeah, there's some in the American.
Oh well.
Jan Filling's Massive by James Bond in For Special Services by John Garner, which brings us to another subject. I mean, Bond books. There's we actually just should I say that? I think I can say that we recorded a review, Edgar and I, of with A Mind to Kill, or I'm not sure because we joked about the title.
With A Mind to Kill. Oh, that's interesting.
So that will be an episode that's coming up in this final quarter of the 2020.
I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but it's coming. It's coming out. It's coming out. And
the literary Bond. Yeah, well, that's the thing. The world of the literary Bond is quite busy and a lot of activity. This sort of the summer began with a Mind to Kill, and the summer concluded for some markets with the Kim Sherwood book, Double or Nothing, which a lot of reviews are out. They seem to be mostly positive. Like the worst reviews are sort of like, well, it's okay, but where's Bond? Which I guess is like the obvious question, but yeah, it seems to be relatively positive buzz.
When does it
Relatively.
come out in the North American
April.
release?
April. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
I'm just
but in,
double checking now and to see if they've changed anything. And I know it's April 11th of 2023, which
Uh, Jean actually proposed because he has the opportunity not only to buy a copy at the event in France, but also get it signed by Kim Sherwood. So I might actually take him on that offer because he
You know
doesn't.
what? I'm very afraid, and this is not a word I use lightly, but I like nice looking books, and my fear is it's going to be another trigger mortis, where the UK book is really nice and the North American book is like insultingly ugly. And if you look at Amazon.ca for Double or Nothing, it's not the UK
there's
cover.
there's no cover at all. Yeah.
I'd be willing to ask Jean to you mind coming back with, I don't need one autographed by Kim Sherwood, but if he doesn't mind coming back with maybe 2 copies of the book, I'd buy one off him because the UK
Yeah,
cover is pretty awesome.
I might actually get him to get some posters signed too. I was actually no, I almost thought about buying the From Russia with Love poster and get it signed by Martin Beswick for your birthday. But as you said last Friday, yeah, I'm not using it, I'm throwing it away. So I'm like, oh, I think I'll keep my money. I'll find something else.
and then what else is there? Because for our listeners, several of the Bond community members have met Kim Sherwood, such as Billy's Bond Art, at a book festival in Scotland. And Josh, one of my good friends, and he's also listening to our show, Josh Gay of W007 AUS, who has the secrets the Secret Spies podcast. He recorded an interview with held an interview with Kim Sherwood herself, just as David Zaritsky did. And if you for those who have read the book, please listen to their episodes or watch their episodes.
She seems there's a podcast I'm a big fan of, and one of the 2 hosts, it's not a Bond podcast, but one of the 2 hosts is kind of like us as far as his love for the franchises, and they released it's actually the episode where I learned that we weren't going to get the book here till spring, but he got an advance copy, and she sounds extremely pleasant, I have to say. I have no idea if her book is good or not, but just her personality and her enthusiasm and her knowledge of the Fleming books and of the movies. They talked about the movies as well. Kim Sherwood sounds like a very pleasant person to talk to.
I think she's a literature professor at University of Strathclyde. I mean, for our listeners or you guys could correct me wrong. I know she's a professor of literature. I just can't remember which university it is.
I do not know. I thought she was an author. So.
Well, she's an author most professors are authors then.
Yeah, no, it's true. But yeah, so anyways, I can certainly, I'm happy they got her to write a book. Hopefully the book is actually good. But I guess we'll find out. Well, I say maybe we'll find out in the spring, but if certain things pan out, I don't mind giving Jean some money to, I don't need an autograph, man. Just come back with a copy of the book. I'll be happy to buy it and not read it in 6 months.
But I'm okay with either. But if you give me the opportunity to get a signed book, I'm gonna take it. But speaking of books, they have started a new James Bond comic called just 007, and I'm looking at the covers. Covers are really nice. I'm just gonna see if I know anyone because I'm not up to date with my comic book artists or writers anymore. Philip Kennedy Johnson, I don't know. Marco Finnegan, I don't know, but it came out. The first issue came out this August. Page count 32. I'll read you the log line. So James Bond must avenge the death of his mentor. 007 is back in action after a high-stakes rescue mission is mysteriously violently sabotaged. James Bond's future at MI6 ends in the balance. As he awaits his fate, Bond is urgently contacted by an old flame and mentor, Gwendolyn Gann, formerly Agent 003, who warns Bond of an existential threat to England and the global balance of power. Before they can meet, 003 turns up dead, sending Bond on the most personal mission of his career: find Gwendolyn Gann's killers and expose the shadowy organization only known as Myrmidon. Myrmidon. I don't know if it's a real word, but the covers look nice. That's an interesting enough premise for me. I'm an easy when it
Finally, I'm so happy we're finally getting a mission that's personal for James Bond. I'm happy that's happened.
you know what? If you're gonna tell, it's an like the covers are beautiful. They have a quasi painterly look for the colors, but there's obviously some inking. But probably I doubt they've been done. Wow, that's really beautiful. But yeah, wow, that's okay. I'm gonna stop because I'm like, ooh, beautiful. I sound like a dork. But yeah, I've speaking of comic books, and it was also Emery's birthday recently.
Yeah.
Have you finished
Hmm.
Big Time?
I did finish it. Yeah, I finished it actually pretty quick because uh it was good. I enjoyed it. I find it was maybe a little how can I say this was more typical like Bond fare. Like it was
Yeah,
really they kind of
no, not
wrote him
trying to
into a
reinvent
corner.
the
No,
wheel.
no, no. It's just this basic, and there's just like a few little things that maybe bothered me in the storyline, but no, artwork is really good.
And I
I
think it's
appreciate.
your first Dynamite comic because you were
Yeah.
telling me about yeah, that
The only
you
other comics that I have is I have a copy. I don't know where it is. It's not a Dynamite. It was the ones before Dark Horse. I think made a run of comics back in
yeah,
the.
Dark Horse did a bunch of them. Mike Grell did a few. I don't remember who did the Goldeneye, but they only printed the first issue, so that doesn't
Yeah.
really count.
I'm looking for it in my bookshelf, and I don't know where I've put it now. But anyway, I've got it was called Serpentin or
Oh,
Serpicus
the
or
Serpent's Tooth, I think it's called.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. I
haven't.
have the first one of that, and so I'm missing the second one. But every time I go on eBay to look for it, it always comes as the trilogy. So I'm like, well, I already have one of them. I only need the other ones. But anyway, I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a big comic fan. I grew up with comics. I spent most of the '90s buying comics, Spider-Man, X-Men, all that. So I mean, I really appreciated the gift, Matt, of a hardcover comic book. I really enjoy those anthology sets of comics where you can actually get the storyline from beginning to end and read the
Mhm.
whole thing,
Mm.
rather than back in the day where
Wo-
you had to buy 17 comics.
and waits 17 months to get the entire story.
Yeah, exactly. And then they
Mm.
go off on a tangent in another one, and you don't get the anyway. Yeah.
They're handy to have around. I'm missing the last few, but I'll catch up. I'll catch up. The volumes, I mean. I have not bought the first issue of the new one, so I don't know what to expect other than the blurb you just read.
Uh,
On that note,
on that note, I think I'm beat. I don't know about you guys. Edgar, are you beat?
My Fitbit's sending me a message, or it has been
Oh,
vibrating for quite some time. Is it like my heartbeat?
This
No,
this
my
late?
yeah. I've been looking at you. You've been looking at something.
yeah, my
You've been. Are you chatting with someone or?
You look
yeah. Hold on. Like first, I thought it was my heartbeat because like my Fitbit, hold
Is
on.
it a Tinder date?
I deleted all my dating apps many years ago, man. But yeah, my heartbeat's fine and everything's fine. But wait a second, it's coming with a blurred image, and now it's a 8-figure image from Monsieur Blanc himself saying, "Jason Kim, do you and your co-hosts have people everywhere?" Everywhere.
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 I can you type? Can you send messages on your Fitbit?
No, I can only receive them. I can't type them back.
Oh, it's too bad because in that case, Monsieur Blanc is not going to know that we do have people everywhere, and I would have asked him, wouldn't you agree? But you have to listen to this episode to discover, and you'll have to wait the hour plus to get to the end to discover that we're on Facebook. Search for the James Bond Complex. We're on Twitter at the Bond Complex. Instagram at the James Bond Complex. We have a YouTube channel, which this may or may not be featured on. Fingers crossed. Search for the James Bond Complex, subscribe, and tickle us with the thumbs up button. But if you're like me, I'm a little bit old school. You don't like things that are too fancy. I can't do video and audio at the same time. Just give me the audio. You go to anchor.fm, you go to Google Podcasts, you go to Spotify, and you go to podcastdesquébécois.qc.ca and Apple.
Apple. There you go. I was waiting for you to say that one.
Why do you bring
So-
Balado Quebec every time we do this?
Because we're featured on there. It is a platform where you can listen to us if you're from this province.
Yeah, but you know who sent I sent them our feed actually. So
then you should be happy that I'm honoring the effort you put into the show by sending them their feed. I'm honoring your work by mentioning them. And there's Apple, so search for the James Bond Complex, subscribe, write a review, and leave a 5-star glowing golden gun review. Some of us can be found at places, others not. Let's start with Jason.
You guys can find my social media on Instagram at JASXON88, where in the next few weeks and months you will find pictures that are related to Fleming, film, and everything in between.
Love it. Matt, you're nowhere. Are you anywhere?
I'm nowhere. I'm everywhere.
That's a great answer. Emery?
007_intrepid as always, and most of the pictures you'll get there are either of my ever-growing Bond collection or food. Never know.
That's a good one. I'm glad there's a little bit of food content out there. I'm happy to know one of us is a foodie. It's important. With diversity, we can't all have the same interests.
Exactly.
On that note, just as James Bond always returns, so too will the James Bond Complex. Sur ce, toujours un plaisir. Merci beaucoup et à la prochaine. Ciao belli, hasta la próxima. Baka.
Wow.
들어줘서 감사합니다. 안녕히 계세요. 아리가토 마트넷.
Bye.
Okay, bye. I don't know any other languages. I know conversational baseball Spanish, and that's about it.
You should sing, we're out.
No, I don't know that one.